Imagine building a house and just hoping it works out. Yep, that's the vibe of this episode. I'm about to show you seriously wild DIY homes, so get ready for some questionable decisions and surprisingly good results. Marek Papaliny became the first man in the world to give birth in 9 months to a house made of containers. At first, the neighbors just laughed. Guy buys 5 rusty boxes and starts cutting them up. But once he installed the panoramic windows, laughter got quieter. And after he insulated the facade, it stopped completely. Before long, those same neighbors were asking to take photos on his terrace because those boxes had become a full 140 square meter villa with a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, and 3 bedrooms. And all for $115,000. It took this guy 5 months and $948,000 to make his dream come true. Well, he found out the total cost after he poured the foundation, so there was no turning back. A wooden frame and OSB boards aren't exactly cheap, but they guarantee durability. The roofs actually had to be covered with 2 different materials, the upper ones with standing seam sheeting and the lower ones with asphalt shingles. The facade was plastered with empty pockets but happy faces because the result exceeded all expectations. This is 530 square meters with a huge pool, 4 bedrooms, and just as many bathrooms. Plus, there's a game room, a garage, and a whole lot more. Dude, this house is my dream too. What do you say we split it? It all started with a brilliant request. I want a carousel, but like a house, and 5 meters up in a tree. Well, okay. To prevent this carousel from being blown away by the first strong breeze, the structure was put on a sturdy metal support. Then came the walls and windows. The finishing touch was a tall wooden staircase. The interior turned out just like Mr. Tumnus's home from the Chronicles of Narnia. Lots of books and even more cozy places to read. In a chair by the fireplace, in bed, or even in the bathtub. Very cool! Cows have tried to eat this house numerous times. But why? Well, because its walls are made of hay. Its wooden frame was packed with bales right up to the top. Then they were covered with a layer of lime plaster. Then another layer, and another, and many, many more layers, until they got this result. The interior is no less eco-friendly. The ground floor is earthen, and the second floor is cork. There's plenty of room for all our subscribers, so if you want to join this house party, subscribe to the channel. This is how aerated concrete blocks look at men at 3 a.m. By 7 a.m., those men are running to clear a site for a foundation and lay the sewer lines for a new home. Even more interesting is that these 4 aren't even construction workers. But that didn't stop them from assembling the perfect roof frame and skillfully covering it with asphalt shingles. While they're finishing up the facade, leave a comment and tell us, could you and your friends build a house like this in 3.5 months? Want to be like George of the Jungle, but still live in comfort? Then check this out! We make a base out of metal beams and pour the foundation. The walls, floor, and even the ceiling can be covered with pine boards. Just be sure to make metal studs so you have something to nail them to. Of course, you can handle the insulation and communications yourself. What else? Oh! Don't forget to create an all-glass facade and a loft-style interior. That way, you can admire this beautiful view from every corner of the house, even the shower. No need to thank me. You know how millennials deal with their childhood trauma? They turn it into a home. These people removed the floor and windows from a school bus and then went crazy and cut the whole structure in half. Just to raise the ceiling, that's all. The metal walls quickly reminded them of how poor the heating was, so they insulated them from the inside and painted an azure color on the outside, seemingly to attract vibes of the sea, summer, heat. You get the idea. In the end, they had 3 fully functional rooms, including a hidden office behind the bedroom. There's even a hot shower and a small solar farm on the roof. Just 2 words. Bounty commercial. And Marvin Laurent was unstoppable. He quickly erected the roof of the furniture-thatched cottage and immediately began work on the lagoon. That is, a swimming pool with an area of almost 50 square meters. To create a tropical vibe, instead of a truckload of coconut bars, it was decided to order a bunch of plants and 30 tons of stone. Well, 1,500 square meters isn't going to decorate itself. The entire construction process took 5 months. Don't you dare tell me it didn't turn out like a true island paradise, because Marvin might just hear and build you one just like it. I'm against giving women flowers. A conservatory house would be way better, preferably built using rammed earth technology. It's a method that involves layering a wet mixture of sand, gravel, and clay into wooden formwork, and then carefully compacting it. The wall grows layer by layer, like a cake, acquiring a unique geological striped pattern. Then you can put Victorian-style furniture inside and finally let your lady feel like Queen Victoria in her own eco-palace. Honestly, does anyone even build brick houses anymore? Even this barn-dominium was made using ICF. That means the foam formwork isn't removed, but reinforced with rebar and concrete poured inside. They say a structure like this can withstand any hurricane. The finished house has an area of over 370 square meters with 7.6 meter high ceilings. A couple of giants could probably fit in the great room. The luxury is accentuated by porcelain tiles in the bathrooms, of which there are 2, as well as the bedrooms. And then there's the garage. Well, not really a garage, more like a castle. What do this hat and this house have in common? Straw! It's tightly compacted to remove oxygen and turn it into an effective insulator. Then it's full eco mode. Inside, clay plaster. Outside, charred wood. Look up, slate roofing. At this point, I'm not even sure if this 36 square meter house on screw piles is meant for people, or if it's just Mother Nature's country cottage. Either way, it turned out great. Some guy in China proposed to a concrete tube to become his home. And honestly, how could it say no to doors like that? He made those and other details like window frames, shelves, and even the bed, all out of the same wood. Against the concrete, it creates a surprisingly cozy contrast. The result is a super original and affordable mini home for anyone who should move out of their mom's house, but doesn't really want to. You could just put it in her backyard. Ferris and Lisa lived in a trailer for years while saving up for their dream home. The second their mattress hit $540,000, they went straight to pouring the foundation. The next year flew by. One minute they're framing the walls, the next they're installing roof trusses and laying shingles on the garage. The 260 square meter house came together so fast, they could hardly believe it themselves. Their brains probably kept telling them it was just a very expensive dream. This is Malcolm McLean, the man who gave the world the modern shipping container. But even he had no idea that some panoramic windows, plumbing, insulation, and a little putty is all you need to have a fully functional 2-bedroom apartment with a kitchen and bathroom. Thank you, legend, for your unexpected contribution to architecture. Good news for white bubble chocolate lovers. A house has been built in its honor. The 27 square meter structure with a kitchen and bathroom cost $25,000, the equivalent of several Milka bars at today's prices. The bubble-like shape was achieved using flexible plywood reinforced with aerated concrete blocks. Finding suitable windows and doors required a trip across nearly all of Arkansas, but the search was totally worth it, especially when you see the finished product. These are the channel admins checking to see whether living in a tire is comfortable so they can show you this DIY house. To build it, some guy had to put out the Springfield tire fire and fill each tire with soil. Doing so allows the walls to act as a giant radiator, storing heat during the day and warming the occupants at night. The glazed south side serves the same purpose. The windows are angled to maximize sunlight. You could survive a mild ice age in a bunker like this, and that's even before it's finished. This person made 3 genius moves while building this cabin. First, he built the foundation as a platform on wheels with jacks. That way, the whole structure could be moved and leveled on any terrain. Second, he used the 2 triangular side walls as a makeshift crane to lift the second wall up to 2 meters. Third, he managed to divide just 10 square meters into 3 areas: a 2.5 by 2.5 meter living room, a 1.2 by 1.2 meter storage space, and a loft bedroom. If that's not wow to you, you might want to Google what wow means. An entire family of grain crops was evicted from their silo, just so someone could make a home out of it. The interior was outfitted with a wooden frame, insulated with polyurethane foam, and covered with cured wood panels. The structure contains a bedroom, living room, and a kitchen. A separate rectangular block was also added to the right for the bathroom, and a huge terrace attached to the left. It's a sort of farmhouse Frankenstein, but for some reason, this one didn't win an Oscar. They say that everyone who lives in Alaska should have their own A-frame cabin, and this family is no exception. They slowly began installing a foundation and triangular frame at the end of summer. But while they were sheathing the walls, a sudden cold snap struck. They had to install the heated floors in the snow. Luckily, they managed to get the roof on, so the following April, they immediately went to work installing the windows and doors. I'm not sure why, but the interior design took them almost a year and a half. Apparently, it isn't easy to squeeze 3 rooms, a bathroom, and a kitchen into 35 square meters. But they did it! Got $9,000 in an old trailer? Congrats! You're already a homeowner! Because the trailer itself acts as the foundation, they skipped straight to building the walls, which were framed and insulated in no time. Small windows kept the space bright without compromising the structure, and the board and batten exterior gave it a cozy aesthetic that looks like it cost way more than it did. Once they finished the interior and added a green terrace outside, the transformation was complete. A proper little home with an open kitchen, a shower, and a loft bedroom upstairs. All for under 10 grand. Not bad at all. Meet King Bird IV and his ambitious nest castle. The structure stands on metal supports and a wooden pillar, almost floating between nature and engineering. The builder clearly committed to full wood mode. Wooden walls, wooden furniture, wooden boy. He's probably running around here somewhere. The whole thing is finished off with a circular terrace and an elegant staircase. But why does a bird need stairs? Is a question I've thought about a lot. My answer? I have absolutely no idea. This family saw Aaron Yeager's Founding Titan and said, "We want that, but make it a house." So the structure is built on metal ribs that were assembled on the ground, then lifted and fixed onto the base. The roofing panels took the most time to install. Because of their curved shape, each one had to be fitted with precision so the seams were fully sealed. After that, insulating the walls and finishing the facade felt almost easy. Almost. But just look at the results! These guys would have kept building everything by hand if they hadn't remembered containers exist. That's what they used for the second floor. After that, it was all about the details. Panoramic windows, insulation, terrace installation. The final result looked like some serious luxury. Incredible! This one's for anyone who urgently needs a place to play games. Work. Start with a solid OSB frame, add a full wall panoramic window, and wrap it all in a clean exterior. Do a little magic with the terrace. Seriously, can we ever skip that part? And of course, you can't forget soundproofing, so you can scream at other players in peace. Co-workers. You are working after all. Professional introverts don't buy apartments. They go into the mountains and build a home there. Step 1, a proper foundation with concrete piles and a solid wooden base, so the house doesn't slide into the underworld. Then comes a frame shaped like the letter. Well, you know. Perfect match for the mountains. And the dark metal siding blends into the landscape so naturally, it feels like it's always been there. All that's left is to finish the interior, furnish both floors, and you're ready to become a forest hermit. John Olson didn't take the easy route. He built his cabin so high in the mountains that he had to create a 2-meter base and haul in 200 tons of gravel just to stabilize it. The walls are insulated concrete forms, which hold heat really well. Add some panoramic windows on the south side, and you get not just a house, but a full-on mountain thermos. A very spacious thermos, by the way, with 2 bedrooms, bathrooms, and plenty of open space to enjoy the view. And question why neighbors were ever invented. I'm starting to seriously wonder, maybe a straw house isn't such a crazy idea after all. Turns out, not only is it warm, it's also highly fire resistant, since plaster is applied directly onto tightly packed bales. It doesn't attract rodents either. And from the outside, it looks just as good as a standard frame house. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Looks like a typical container home, but it's actually not a container. Although, now that it's sitting on water, technically it's kind of maritime. Anyway, this is a wooden container-style build with a seriously clean design. The inside features a living room, bedroom, and bathroom. Then, they added a separate module for a finished sauna, and even put a hot tub on top for maximum relaxation. Like this. After seeing cruise prices, one guy grabbed some old pontoons and decided to build a houseboat instead. Turns out, it's way cheaper. The basics like framing, insulation, and finishing came together pretty quickly. Then he added 12 solar panels on the roof, followed by 2 powerful electric motors. Now, what to do on board? Whatever you want, of course. Play games, sleep in the cabin upstairs, scroll TikTok in the bathroom. Nobody's stopping him. He's living that life for all of us. This is one of those guys who says, I'll just do it myself, and actually does. A 465 square meter house. He picked the most convenient location possible, a steep slope, so the lower level had to be carved directly into the rock. Then he made things even harder by choosing a non-standard shape. As a final boss move, the man installed unsupported corner windows, something even big construction crews rarely attempt. Realtors appraised his work at $4 million. For 8 rooms, 6 bathrooms, and an open kitchen, that seems fair. Although, I'd add a little extra for mental toughness. Turning a container into a home is basically like playing a video game. First, the hero finds doors and windows at a scrapyard. Then comes the first boss, a wooden beam that absolutely refuses to attach to the ceiling. Next, a new skill unlocks, Designer, and the container slowly starts to look like an actual home. After that, you get the insulation upgrade, so you can survive year-round. And by the end, the fully leveled-up builder claims the ultimate reward, a comfortable place to live. Alessia and Yevon are here to show you how to build a fairy tale forest cabin. You'll need wooden A-frames, panels, roof tiles, and maybe the 3 little pigs. They've got some solid experience. The fear of stubbing a toe on a sharp corner pushed this couple to order a spherical house. And honestly, it turned out to be a great decision because the wall panels were installed in just 5 days. The finished dome covers 185 square meters and is basically surrounded by windows on all sides. Inside, there's an open kitchen with a living area and a bathroom, while the bedroom sits on the 2nd level. There's still so much free space, you could throw a party in there. And why not? You've already got the disco ball. Top celebs you wouldn't recognize after plastic surgery: Jim Carrey, Selena Gomez, and this house. It used to be 2 shaky sheds. Now it's a modern chalet where blue natural stone boldly mixes with glass and steel. Inside, there's no room for old junk anymore. It's all clean minimalism and high-end finishes. All of it is neatly spread across 3 bedrooms, bright bathrooms, and a huge open kitchen living area. It's one of those rare cases where the transformation improved not just the exterior, but the soul too. Tired of babysitting his grandkids, this man grabbed whatever boards he could find and disappeared into the woods. He'd rather build himself a tiny 3.6 by 5.5 meter off-grid cabin than hear another 6-7 joke. He had enough motivation to finish the frame, install the windows, and even build a spacious terrace. Inside, it turned into a cozy setup with a stove and comfortable furniture. This couple gave up everything to move to Normandy and build a house from scratch. And at first, everything was going perfectly. They built a ventilated crawl space 1.2 meters high to easily run all the communication lines, then installed the wooden frame. But somewhere during wall installation, the bank suddenly cut off funding, leaving them with nothing. However, people online came to the rescue and helped them raise over 45,000 euros. And that's how this cozy home with a kitchen, bathroom, and 2 rooms came to life. It looks like a well-earned reward. This is something you can't survive in the desert without. That's right, I'm talking about a house made of spray foam. It was built in just 4 days, 2 of which were spent waiting for the concrete to cure, since the metal frame depends on it. After installing 17 windows and door frames, the fun part began, spraying the foam. It's completely waterproof, by the way. Not exactly the biggest concern in the desert, but still. In the end, they covered it with paint. Now all that's left is the interior. We wish them luck. Believe it or not, these people started building a house just to get in shape. Lifting the frame worked their arms. Cladding hit the shoulders. Installing solar panels even improved coordination. And while they were getting stronger, so was the house. What started as a skeleton turned into a solid home with a living room, stove, open kitchen, bathroom, and even a 2nd floor. It's way more effective than a gym membership. Think about it. Watching a DIY build like this kind of hurts, mostly because it's not yours, and you can't even criticize it. Every step is precise, every beam placed with almost surgical care. It feels less like they're building a house and more like they're raising a child. Clearly, they're great parents, because this 2-story home turned out beautiful inside and out. From their early days in service, Matt and Amy dreamed of having a place they could truly call home. And the moment they took off their uniforms, that dream finally got its foundation. Literally. Let's take a look at what they built next. Here's the plan. Invite all your friends over for a puzzle night and have them assemble your IW home together. The parts are pre-cut from moisture-resistant plywood using CNC machines and delivered as a full kit. Everything can be put together in a single weekend. And right after that, you can celebrate your housewarming. Natural disasters are on their way to destroy this house. And then they see it, a 3D printed structure. The walls are made from a special lavacrete mix designed to handle extreme weather. The tech itself is incredibly fast. A 185 square meter home can be fully printed in just 48 hours. This homeowner turned hers into a space with 2 bedrooms, an open kitchen, and a personal workshop. She says the curved walls inspired creativity and hold heat well. Honestly, I believe her. After reading the news, I figured it's probably time to show you a DIY bunker house. Fully eco-friendly, by the way. The curved wooden vault is supported by large logs, which, if needed, can be replaced with sandbags or even tires. On top, instead of insulation or shingles, you just pile on a thick layer of damp soil. Add bulletproof windows and doors. And yeah, that's about it. It should work. Probably. Financial literacy is building yourself a house out of free scrap materials. Believe it or not, they can make for a very solid structure. Everything else is just presentation. A little plaster, a little paint, some glass details, and proper lighting. And just like that, a large family now has their own home with 2 rooms, a spacious dining area, and a bathroom. Not for a ridiculous price either. Pretty great, right? They say that when you build a house with your own hands, you form a deep emotional connection with it. Every stage, from the frame to the facade, holds a piece of your soul. And sometimes, that connection follows you everywhere. Literally, on a truck. Not that this guy is complaining. At first, nobody understood why this grandfather was building a sumo ring in the middle of the forest. When he started adding walls, it got even stranger. A ring with walls? And only when the roof trusses went up did it finally click. It's a yurt. A pretty solid one too, especially for a 65-year-old hobby builder. Inside, there's everything you need for a peaceful life. A place for a futon, a kitchen, a shower, and a toilet. 26 square meters, with more meaning packed into it than most oversized apartments. This guy refused to go into debt for a mediocre apartment. So he drew up his own construction plans and started building instead. And when I say build, I mean everything. Not just the frame and walls, but every piece of furniture, every shelf, every cabinet. He and his wife put everything they had into this project, without pouring in a massive budget, and it paid off. Here's an option for the truly lazy. All you do is order ready-made CLT wall panels. No plastering, no priming. Maybe just a coat of paint if you care about aesthetics. These structures can handle earthquakes up to magnitude 7.5, and the entire build takes no more than 6 days. The peak of human evolution is panels with built-in insulation. They save a huge amount of time during construction. Here's proof. A team of 3 was able to build this house in just 10 days, and most of that time was spent on the roof. Unbelievable! Remember when Rihanna sang, "Shine bright like a diamond cabin"? That frame took until late at night to assemble. The Angles had their own opinion about going up smoothly, but it was worth it. The cabin turned out compact but complete. with a kitchen, a living room, and a loft bedroom upstairs. Then there's the outdoor shower, right there among the trees. I mean, who's going to judge them out in the middle of the forest? That's all from me today. Like the video, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you would build your house out of. I read every answer, even the weird ones. Especially the weird ones. Bye!